today, the January 6th panel is meeting, I think, at 1 p.m. to make some criminal referrals, I should say, to the DOJ. Among them will be criminal referrals of Donald Trump for inciting insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th. I don't anticipate the DOJ doing much about it. Even if they were, they're going to run out of time. But as a political matter and as an accountability matter, it's an important thing to note. On top of which, I think it's quite possible tomorrow we will see the Ways and Means Committee vote to release the Trump taxes that we've heard so much about for the past, I guess, 6 years.
Yeah.
Or we've not heard so much about for the past 6 years, the specifics. And of course, there is this incredible desire amongst the media to presume that Donald Trump is going to now go away.
Trying to will it into existence.
There was a poll that came out, which I did see while I was on the high seas, that showed close to 50-50 split. I can't remember the exact numbers in terms of whether Democrats wanted Joe Biden to run again. But 65 to 35% wanted Republicans wanted Trump to run again.
Mm-hmm. And there was a CNBC poll that we covered that showed that something like 60% of Americans don't want Trump to run again. It said 70% of Americans didn't want Biden.
Right. I mean, so, there's this sort of aspirational quality that we see on the news in terms of talking about Donald Trump. But CNN brought out a Republican to say that Trump's time is over. But of course, in fact, it's this Republican who is really no longer an elected official, or won't be in a month or two.
Over.
Indeed.
It's not hard to figure out what one man you're talking about there. Do you think Republicans are increasingly receptive to that message? Do you think Donald Trump's hold on your party is finally slipping?
Absolutely, I do. First, I think his influence was waning, not as quickly as I had hoped it would, but I think it was waning. But the election outcome from last month, I think, dramatically accelerates the waning. And frankly, his unbelievably terrible rollout of his his election campaign, is also not helping him. So yeah, I mean, I think you see it manifested in a number of ways. One obvious way was quite an impressive turnout of prominent Republicans who have been going to events like the RJC meeting in Las Vegas, openly talking about themselves as candidates after Donald Trump had already made it clear he was running. So it tells you that they perceive the Republican electorate to be much more open. And in my travels since the election around Pennsylvania, I've heard from many, many formerly very pro-Trump voters that they think it's time for our party to move on. So yes, I think that process is underway. It's not a flip of a switch. It doesn't happen overnight. Nope. He still has a significant following, that's for sure. But I do think his influence is waning.
Let's talk about the Republican.
All right. I mean, it may be the case that his influence is waning, as opposed to when he was president of the United States. But still, there's absolutely no reason to believe that when a primary happens, in the event that any of these people even run, that he's not going to do the same thing he did in 2015, 2016, amongst the same candidates that were there. I mean, it's not like, Ron DeSantis, I would say, is, not too dissimilar from Rudy Giuliani or Scott Walker, for that matter.
Or
everybody
Chris
thought,
Christie.
well, I mean, everybody thought going in, or Chris Christie, everybody thought Scott Walker was going to be the guy. He dropped out almost first. When Giuliani was going in, they thought, oh, he's America's mayor. It turns out not really America's mayor. And so there's just this incredible sense of aspiration.
Yeah, I may be waning, but I guess what you guys aren't doing is waxing. You're not waxing.
Not waxing.
Not waxing enough. And in terms of what is old being new again, Pat Toomey there doing the Jeff Flake right? There's always this guy, retiring, outgoing Republican. The fever's breaking. The fever's breaking this time.
Not so
Not so much.